We will now look at some of the future possibilities for the Peace Education Program and how you can get involved. It's such an honor to work alongside so many talented people here who make the Peace Education Program and really all of TPRF's initiatives a success. We recently received a lot of video submissions from some of you who were excited to share with us why you volunteer for the Peace Education Program, and I'm very happy to share some of them with you all now.
The question is, of all the different things I could volunteer for, why did I choose the Peace Education Program? The Peace Education Program is one of the most profound and enjoyable volunteer activities I have ever engaged in.
I've chosen to volunteer for the Peace Education Program because I really believe it can make a significant change for people who participate from all walks of life, and also that it can bring a change to society.
Because this program actually helps people become aware of the inner resources they already have. And once a person is aware that they have these and can begin to access them, it's just a game changer for their lives and the lives of all those around them.
Hola, mi nombre es Sharon Lozano Arapa, soy psicóloga y facilitadora voluntaria del programa de Educación para la Paz. Esta experiencia ha sido muy gratificante para mí por haber podido brindar estos talleres a diversos estudiantes en la ciudad del Cusco. Además, este programa ha sido de mucho beneficio para mí en el ámbito profesional y también en el ámbito personal, pues yo también he podido encontrar mi paz interna.
The Peace Education Program in my hospital in Barcelona has been incredible. Doctors, nurses, cooks, pharmacists, and other staff really enjoy it. For me as a volunteer, it has been incredible to see all my colleagues and friends so deeply touched by it. The PEP has changed our lives, and it has also improved the quality of our work in the hospital.
Sou a Bianca, moro em São Paulo, no Brasil, e dentre todos os voluntariados que pesquisei para fazer, o Programa de Educação para a Paz me chamou a atenção principalmente por não ter vínculos religiosos ou políticos e assim atingir mais pessoas. E também pela premissa incrível de ajudar as pessoas a encontrar o próprio caminho para a paz.
The reason why I choose to volunteer for the Peace Education Program is because I have felt the impact of the program while helping to translate the program materials. The content and structure of the program, as well as the way the 10 themes have been arranged, starting from peace and ending with contentment, is good and makes a lot of sense.
I found this program a little bit by chance. I was searching for something to do with some meaning, and searching the internet, I found this opportunity. Participating in this course brought me a peace of mind and focus. I was trying so many things, trying to fulfill something that I didn't know what it was. Things didn't make much sense. Today I'm more grateful for things I've already accomplished than worried about the things I haven't done yet. I think I found a little bit of my inner peace.
I did not choose this volunteer opportunity. It chose me. It was the perfect fit for my skills and my interests and my abilities. From the moment I learned about the course, I pursued every opportunity that I could to promote and support the Peace Education Program, and very grateful to continue to be involved with the course to this day.
Porque resuena con muchas personas. Cuando menciono el título Programa de Educación para la Paz, veo el brillo en sus ojos. Esto me ha dado mucha satisfacción y alegría.
Hi, I'm Helga from Vienna, Austria. I feel that the most promising approach to peace on earth is to start one by one and to help each individual to find peace within first.
Es que el gobierno nacional expidió una ley que establece que las instituciones de educación básica y media deben tener una cátedra de la paz y las instituciones de educación superior deben tener una cátedra de la paz opcional. Los cursos de educación para la paz de la Fundación Prem Rawat proporcionan todos los materiales, tanto escritos como audiovisuales, para una enseñanza de la paz.
To open up the possibility for people to know themselves, to feel the peace that they have inside of them, I think for now it's the best thing I can do.
I have had some of the most beautiful feelings in my life.
I'm from São Paulo, Brazil, and I choose to be a volunteer in the Rawat Foundation because of the opportunity to help others and learn with different people. I gain so much as a volunteer. In every facilitation, I have the opportunity to learn with Rawat and each other.
Thank you so much to all of the Peace Education Program volunteers who shared their perspectives with us today. One very exciting development I'm happy to be able to share with you is that TPRF is in the process of piloting a new Peace Education Program course designed specifically for high school and university students, and we're developing a strategy to make it available in a lot more educational settings across the world. I recently spoke to two of the key people involved in the PEP EDU project, Catherine Gavigan, Director of the New Zealand Centre for Wellbeing and Resilience, and Social Worker Christopher Dawson. Then Dr. Mitesh Desai and panelists will return to discuss other future possibilities for the program and let you know about more volunteer opportunities, and they'll also answer any questions you have. Hi, I'm Jake Frankel, and I'm here with two of the key people working on piloting a new Peace Education Program course for educational settings. Program Manager Catherine Gavigan and Chris Dawson, a social worker in one of the pilot schools. You've both been working on developing this new Peace Education Program curriculum for a while, and can you tell us about what it's been like to develop it and when it will be available to more people in more countries to use?
Thanks, Jake, and thanks for the opportunity to talk about the Peace Education Program for education. The process we've used has been very thorough in developing this new program because we wanted it to appeal to a very wide range of students. The age group is 14 to 25-year-old. So we've used similar protocols that is used in the education department normally when developing a program: assess the needs, develop materials, pilot with students, get feedback, change what needs to be changed, and then pilot more widely. So the new material is designed to fit into existing subjects, health and well-being, or life skill courses, or as an elective. So I guess the process has been very simple. Firstly, choose the media for each of the 10 themes. And as I said, the minimum age is 14. And we're also using it in the university sector. So young people are listening to it up to the ages of 25, 26. The video content choice is twofold. Firstly, we've chosen for discussion starters. And then secondly, we've chosen video content that is good for reflections because that's very much a big part of the program. The next step in the development of this PEP EDU was to give it to some university students, and they watched it on their own, and the feedback was fabulous. So that was really encouraging for us. We then got together a group of experienced professional educators, and they worked on the session plans, the educator's guide, and the student workbook. The next step is to identify pilot schools, and then we had the problem with COVID, but we still managed to start pilots in New Zealand and the UK, and we're presently starting pilots in Malaysia, Singapore, India, Australia, Sri Lanka. So that's a very exciting part of the program, is to see how well it works. And to date, it's working really well. So we're very excited about the possibilities for PEP EDU. We then commissioned Massey University to look at our feedback that we're gathering and they'll put together a report. So the whole process has been really thorough, and I think we've got a great product.
Catherine, what are the goals of PEP EDU?
So the goals for PEP EDU are simple. Firstly, we're introducing young people to their inner resources. And secondly, we're giving them the opportunity to hear about something that they don't normally hear about in their ordinary curriculum, hearing about opportunities to think about what they have rather than what they don't have. And they have wonderful inner resources, hope, appreciation, inner strength, and these kind of things will help them with their life journey. So it's all about empowerment, and the goal is one of resilience, helping young people to be more resilient.
Chris, have you evaluated the effectiveness of the program in the pilot so far?
Yes, we've been evaluating it mainly through the classes as they progress. Evaluation has been, we had a formal evaluation set up, but then we got closed down by COVID. So that kind of blocked us collecting that data, but that will happen. But during the program, the feedback from the students through their reflection and after class is very positive. We've also had comment from the teachers that they have seen an improvement in expression not previously experienced in class or demonstrated in class from students, both through their verbal and their written work. The Peace Education program talks to young people in a way that's very relatable to them. We've also had feedback from school administration who have said that this program has positively affected the culture in the school, and they're very keen for us to come back in to continue this work.
So what have some of the other results been? How has it benefited the students?
I think it really helps the students gain a greater perspective and empathy for not only themselves, but for other people. It gives them an insight into human behavior. I think the story that Prem talks about, the good wolf and the bad wolf, really resonates, and it helps them to stand still for a moment and think about what they're actually achieving in their life and what they want to achieve. They see their own value and significance in a way that they haven't previously. So the positive effect on students as they begin to understand that they have inner resources they didn't know they had, such as peace, clarity, and understanding, is a simpler focus, a happier people, and a happy student learns better.
Catherine, schools, educational institutions, they're looking for ways to complement their existing programs. How would you say the Peace Education program is complementing a student's learning experience?
So because the program is designed to be a strength-based curriculum, the program focuses a student on what they have rather than what they are deficient in. And this is very refreshing for students and makes them feel good about themselves. It's like, wow, we have resources that we didn't know that we already had. And the program also introduces them to their inner strengths, hope, dignity, understanding, valuable resources that can help them with life's challenges. This knowledge and understanding builds confidence. So, as I said earlier, the goals of the program is to empower and help resilience. And I feel that that's been one of the results of the pilot. We've also seen the program develop concentration skills and listening skills. Even though the videos are short, each has an important message for them to listen to. We've also seen them develop new vocab. Students hear words in the program which they may not necessarily know about. So it builds word knowledge. And another very interesting observation that we've found is that listening to the Peace Education program, it has a settling effect on students. They're able to engage with the material because Prem is talking to them about something important and something that's very relatable. he's talking about them, he's talking about their life. So that's not always the case in a lot of the curriculum areas that they have to work with in schools, senior schools, and of course in university. It's very content driven. And then lastly, we've seen that in the school sector especially, that the program has increased general knowledge because students hear Prem talking to other students or other people in a whole variety of different countries they've never heard about. And we did this wonderful activity with the students in Auckland where we gave them a world map and we asked them to identify all the countries where Prem had spoken in PEP EDU. And the good news was that they got 90% of them. So that was a very exciting thing. So yeah, the program increases a whole variety of different educational outcomes for students.
I'm sure one of the questions you often get from people at schools is, who is Prem Rawat and what is his role in the program? What do you say to that?
Yeah, that's really true. That's often the first question when we're introducing the program to schools. And I guess that's because the program content is based on video clip of Prem talks around the world. And the schools are like, well, who is this guy? When we point out to them, or when they observe the program, they see that Prem introduces people to themselves. As Prem likes to say, introducing you to you. So he's promoting an awareness of self, which is often a new experience for young people. So he imparts his wisdom and experience through the videos. He talks about the ability to be stronger, more courageous, and happier within ourselves. And that message resonates with our young people. I mean, Prem is an expert at delivering this message and brings clarity and authority to the subject of self-knowledge. But very quickly, people begin to realize as they watch the program, it's really talking about them, not about him.
How are you finding that the program is fitting in to diverse cultural settings and families and communities?
Yeah, so in answer to that, the school that I'm working in is definitely multicultural, with Māori and Pacifica people from New Zealand, and also mixed faith community, which both our students and the schools reflect. The program, of course, emphasises humanity and all that we share, and it acknowledges the universal cultural values such as kindness, peace, hope, understanding, and recognises the universal aspirations of people to feel good about their lives. It also highlights what is good in us and recognises the value of everyone. And culturally, this just fits. And spiritually, for people who are in strong faith communities, this also fits. So the program is very adaptive to the environment it's shown in.
What are the next steps with the rollout of PEP EDU?
So the next step is to continue building our team of professional educators across the world. The environment in education, in schools and university, is a very sensitive environment. So we want to be very respectful to students and parents and teachers. And so that's why we've got professional people dealing with the schools, dealing with the universities, and helping us to introduce our new materials into those environments. So if you've got contacts in education, or you've got yourself as an educator or a social worker and you'd like to be involved, then send your details to pep@tprf.org and we can follow up. Another thing that we're doing as follow-up and next step is to start professional development days for teachers and lecturers in the schools and university sectors. And they've been very successful because they allow teachers and social workers and lecturers to come together, look at the material and see how they can fit it into their existing curriculum areas. So I think that the main point here is to realise that we want to have this program go as wide as possible to as many schools, many universities as possible. And to do that, we have to be very professional.
Well, Catherine and Chris, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your perspective and all the great work you've been doing with PEP EDU.
Thank you, Jake.
Thanks, Jake.
Thank you, Catherine and Chris, for that exciting update in relation to PEP EDU. Begonia Chillo, Jocelyn Brain and Willow Baker have just joined me once again as we discuss some of the other future possibilities for the Peace Education Programme. Welcome back to you all.
Thank you. Thank you.
So what are the other future possibilities for the Peace Education Programme?
Well, first of all, the future looks very bright. The future of the Peace Education Program will surely see increased expansion into educational institutions, correctional facilities, and probation and parole. As well, in healthcare, hubs and centers for people who are homeless, community centers for senior citizens and youth, and for refugees and asylees. In the future, we anticipate that more groups will request the Prem Rawat Foundation to offer the course.
So with that increasing demand, what's going to be the Prem Rawat Foundation's focus?
The focus of the Prem Rawat Foundation's Peace Education Program will remain humanitarian and free of charge. Other trainings are in development for the general public and professional or corporate sectors by Intelligent Existence, which is a division of Timeless Today.
And thinking about what's happened over this pandemic, what about the many courses that were put on pause during this time?
The program is currently active in 42 countries, which is a reduced number due to the pandemic. But as doors open again, the program will be reactivated in previous countries and organizations, and additional countries have started requesting the course.
Also, I would like to mention that the Peace Education Program currently exists in over 35 languages. More will become available as translations are completed. By the end of this year, 2021, more courses in Swedish, Danish, Spanish, Portuguese, Italian, German, French, Chinese, Arabic, and Tetum, that is the language spoken in East Timor, will have been added to the roster. Courses are also available with English subtitles for the hearing impaired.
And so we'll be able to have in-person courses. What's going to happen with the virtual courses?
Well, in some instances, the course will be in person, and in other instances, the virtual mode will be more appropriate. Willow, could you give a few examples?
Oh, sure. One such instance where the virtual mode seems to be more appropriate was with cancer patients who had previously found it challenging to get themselves to in-person workshops when they weren't feeling well. With virtual courses, they are now able to join from the comfort of their homes. Also, representatives of correctional institutions in Zimbabwe and the Dominican Republic had learned about the Peace Education Program at a conference a couple years ago, but they were challenged by the logistics of setting it up and identifying facilitators. As Ernest Licchetti mentioned in the panel earlier, facilitators were trained over Zoom and have started implementing the program with great enthusiasm. Similarly, workshops are facilitated virtually out of Argentina into cell blocks in prison in the Dominican Republic.
So what I hear is that there are really incredible possibilities for the Peace Education Program in the very near future, if not in the immediate future. So I guess for many of us who are perhaps listening, we may want to get involved. What roles are there that we can be involved with?
Today, you have heard from several Peace Education Program volunteers who perform their various roles. Volunteer roles include a licensee, facilitator, and technical operator.
And in addition, there are roles such as support contact for a specific region or country, the help desk, translation, and promotion.
And if anybody wants to take on any of these roles, what training, coaching, or mentorship is available for volunteers?
Well, currently there is orientation for volunteers, training for technical operators, and ongoing support for all licensees and facilitators. These will be improved and further implemented. And recently, Prem Rawat expressed that he would like to create and provide training for facilitators. So we look forward to fully supporting and being synchronized with his efforts.
During the last months, we conducted an assessment of immediate training needs. And in that, we understood that volunteers were requesting support in relation to promotion. So to respond to this, there will be international collaboration on identifying and communicating best practices for promotion with sample presentations and materials that can be localized.
So that's really great news. It's reassuring to know that such support is always going to be available for volunteers. What about support for someone who has applied for having the Peace Education Programme available in the institution? What support's available for them?
Well, firstly, there's a lot of helpful information on the Peace Education Programme page on the TPRF website. And this is where someone can apply for a license. Then a volunteer support representative who is in the applicant's country or speaks their language contacts the person to ensure the applicant understands the agreement and also to answer any questions about the program. The same support representative provides ongoing support as a licensee sets up their first course and so forth.
Yes, and in addition to the support representatives in various countries, there's an international volunteer help desk team ready to answer general or specific questions about the course in most languages. If you want to make suggestions, get advice, or technical assistance, these help desk agents will provide the support you need, often by introducing you to the right person or people who can really help you. All questions are sent to pep@tprf.org.
And to encourage collaborative support, we plan to organize virtual meetings that are region and or sector specific starting early next year. So people can share ideas, best practices, and successful approaches, as well as advise each other about potential mistakes and challenges.
I think that's a really great idea. I think that with the experience that so many people have, to have the opportunity to exchange ideas and share best practices is really wonderful. I should also highlight something that hasn't been mentioned is the facilitator guide also contains really helpful information, and many of us probably don't look there as the first port of call for a lot of helpful information. So that's something I wanted to mention. Now, we mentioned this before, but can you provide more details about the support for promotions? That seems to be the one where, Begonia, your assessment found that there's the greatest demand.
Yeah, that's right. We did mention that promotion has been identified as the primary need for developing training, coaching, and materials.
And we have plans for the development of these trainings and the corresponding materials. We're going to bring together people experienced in presenting the course to institutions and brainstorm the best practices and also identify those practices that are consistently unsuccessful. These volunteers will be joined by other volunteers with marketing and promotion expertise. If you're interested in being part of this international think tank, please see the volunteer role description posted on tprf.org under Get Involved Volunteer.
And Jocelyn, I also understand that there are opportunities available too, other opportunities available too. Is that correct?
Yes, there are also support team representative positions and technical operator positions open. To explore and apply, please go to tprf.org under Get Involved/volunteer.
So that's tprf.org, Get Involved Volunteer, to find out more about these opportunities. Well, thank you so much, Jocelyn, Begonia, and Willow. Now, for those of you watching, on your screen, you'll be able to see a list of the resources that are accessible to you. And this will now bring us to the end of this segment. We'll shortly be having our live question and answer session, during which we shall also be joined by our other panelists from earlier segments. But before that, let's enjoy a short video of expressions from volunteers around the world sharing what they gain from volunteering for the Peace Education Programme.
Hi, my name's Annie, and I've been part of the Peace Education Program now for a couple of years, mainly in the prisons. To listen to their expressions of absolute gratitude for that program and their respect and love for Prem Rawat for putting that program together that had given them so much hope.
Je suis membre de l'association Avancée qui souhaite tout simplement aider les gens. Et nous avons choisi de proposer le PEP car il s'adresse directement à l'être humain, quel que soit son passé ou sa culture, ses croyances, et cela sans aucune condition, bien sûr.
What have I gained? Much more gratitude and consciousness. It has taught me to be a much better listener, be more patient with others and myself, and given me more of an openness to learn.
O motivo de eu ter escolhido a fundação para poder fazer o meu trabalho voluntário foi essa transmissão de mensagem da paz para mim mesma e também poder transmitir isso a todos ao meu redor e todas as pessoas que querem ter a consciência em si mesmo.
I have got so much joy to my life from facilitating Peace Education Program and also from supporting other people to volunteer for the program.
J'ai choisi d'être bénévole du programme d'éducation pour la paix parce que cela est devenu une passion pour moi. Une passion pour moi d'aider nos populations au nord du Bénin à découvrir leurs propres ressources intérieures.
Because this gives the best return for me in my life, and I can see that, I can feel it. So when I do that, I really like to volunteer for this particular Peace Education program.
What I have gained most from doing this is a recognition of how similar we all are, and that we all want to feel and be in peace.
Today we're having a PEP session, one of many we hope, and that's really special to me to be involved with PEP because it is focusing on the special learning, and this place was set up as a learning centre. So to learn about the self, which PEP does, to me is the most important thing that a person can do.
Lo que aprendí del PEP es que todas las personas, cuando tenemos la oportunidad de reflexionar y estar en armonía y en silencio con nosotros mismos, podemos reconocer nuestra paz.
It's such a good experience, to witness how people change during that process. And it's a unique experience. And then, I don't want to miss it.
Sin importar si se trata de internos en una prisión, grupos religiosos o de excombatientes, estudiantes o profesores, siempre es una experiencia invaluable que me llena de amor y agradecimiento.
Often it's a sheer joy to see the people transform from a sort of hopelessness towards hope in their life.
This program has helped me to accept and see the good within myself and to see the good within others. After attending, my takeaway is a heart full of gratitude and unparalleled joy every time.
And by facilitating PEP, you get so much clarity
and joy and happiness and bliss just by running them. And they're fun. And the look on people's faces, the joy is priceless.
Congratulations to TPRF on 20 years of promoting dignity, peace, and prosperity.
Wow, wow, what an amazing day it has been. And welcome to the live question and answer part of the Peace Education Programme segment. I'd like to now welcome back our many panelists from across the globe. So you'll see them popping up on our screen as they join us. Now, we have been receiving your questions from the time that you registered, as well as through the course of today's conference, when you've been submitting them through the comments and question function of the conference platform. You still have time to submit your questions using the comments and question function. If you're on a computer, just a reminder, you will see this to the right of your screen when you click on the comments and question tab. And if you're on a phone, you can click the comments and questions arrow at the bottom of your screen. But before we start with questions, I'm going to start with some of the comments. I'm just so inspired by hearing how much you're enjoying the conference from wherever you are. And here are some comments that stood out for me. The first is from Sandy Collier. This is so inspiring. Thank you, everyone. My heart is jumping out of my chest. Another one from Roseanne. You guys are awesome. Cheers to Leonie, Kanini, Billa, and Ernest. Jim Murray says, everyone has been fantastic, very inspiring. And Irina says, the best rap I have ever heard in my life. Thank you, the Bloods. So it's great to hear from everybody that you are enjoying this conference and you're finding it inspiring. And on that, I'd like to start with our first question that's been sent in. And this one, I think I will ask Willow first. The question is, how is the Peace Education Programme different from other forms of peace education?
Thanks, Mitesh. That's a big question. So I'm familiar with two other types of peace education. One is through Rotary International, where people are taught steps and methods for conflict resolution, violence prevention, and mediation skills. And another is through the Institute for Economics and Peace, where they develop the difference between negative peace, which is defined as the absence of violence or the fear of violence, and positive peace, which is attitudes, institutions, and structures that create and sustain peaceful societies. Prem Rawat's strength-based peace education program is about personal peace, as we've heard so much about today. It helps participants, human beings, individual human beings, discover their own inner strengths and empowers them to make choices that they're happy with. As Prem was describing earlier, people's lives are touched and transformed in a society where currently many lives are being touched and destroyed. And I'd just like to insert here a thank you to Prem for helping everyone within the Peace Education Program to keep that vision clear and untangled, as he described it, and for being the keynote speaker today, reminding us that this is about helping people transform. Catherine, would you like to add anything to that?
Yeah, I think there's also peace education programs in schools that focus on conflict resolution, democracy education, human rights, worldview transformation. They're all very good skills and really good content. But I think you nailed it, Willow, when you said that the peace education program is about an individual and an individual transforming, and that also has a social benefit.
Mitesh, you're muted.
You're muted.
Sorry, I'm going to add something. as a doctor, there's many things I can do for someone to feel better, but they're often external things. And the thing that actually really brings about healing is when that healing comes from within. And so for me, observing the Peace Education Program and the impact that it has had for me is that I don't get told a list of do 1, 2, and 3 and your problems go away. What I get told is actually you discover yourself. And from yourself, with the strengths that you discover, you find your outward expression. It's a little bit like, from a doctor's perspective, healing from within. So that's great to have these conversations about the different forms of peace education. One of the questions we have here is, I see you have something for post-conflict zones. Is there anything currently? Who would like to take that question?
I can take that one.
Go ahead, Willow.
So in Medellin, Colombia, there's currently, right now, ongoing courses with ex-combatants from the Civil War there. And this year, Peace Education Program was started with groups of farmers and nomadic herders in northern Benin, where in the clip we just saw, there was Rashidi Adam, who was speaking about what he benefits from the Peace Education Program facilitation. And there he was requested to conduct the course with these nomadic herders and farmers who've actually been killing each other. And the result of the Peace Education Program there has been very positive. It's just starting, but already there is less violence, and people who weren't speaking to each other have started speaking again because of the personal experience that they have through the course.
Thank you, Willow, for sharing that story. Thank you. Leonie, you mentioned that you currently work with refugees. Do you see a future for Peace Education Program with refugees?
Pardon me, I had to unmute myself. Yes, I do. I believe when we talk about community and creating resilient community, by empowering the refugees with knowledge, we are helping them to live a productive, fulfilling, and independent life. And that's what the Peace Education Program will provide. So there is a purpose for it in the refugee community.
Thank you, Leonie. I have a question with relation to one of the questions from the poll earlier on, which was about what are the areas of focus for the Peace Education Program. And I believe there were 3 options, plus there was all of the above and none of the above. Willow, would you like to clarify what is the focus of the Peace Education Program? Is it corporates? Is it humanitarian? Is it elementary schools? Is it something else? You're just on mute.
Sorry. So I was just looking up the that poll. So the question was, which of the following areas does the Peace Education Program focus on? And the choices were corporations, humanitarian endeavors, and elementary schools. And it's possible that with all the presentations there have been since we did the live poll, that person has gotten clarity. But just in case, the Prem Rawat Foundation's Peace Education Program focuses on humanitarian endeavors and is free of charge. Other trainings by Prem Rawat are in development for the general public and corporations by Intelligent Existence, which is a division of Timeless Today. And in terms of the elementary schools, the minimum age for the Peace Education Program, as you now know, is 14 years old, as the course was not designed for younger children. However, the course is offered to parents and teachers of elementary school children. I hope that makes the answer clear.
That's great, Willow. Thank you very much. Now, I'm going to come to Billa. So Billa, lots of comments in the commentary in response to your documentary and your story in relation to the Peace Education Programme. One of the questions that's come through is, what were the challenges for you coming out of prison?
Thank you, Mitesh. Yeah, I think the main challenge, because whilst I was in prison, I kept seeing coming back within such a short space of time. So for me, I wanted to, like I said earlier, keep that continuity, especially keeping in touch with the PEP volunteers and cutting off my old negative ties, rebuilding family ties. And since I've come out, because people have seen how I've changed and worked hard at it and facilitating the PEP education program, it's just been nothing but love from everybody. But there was other challenges, you know, because I came out with nothing, as I said in the documentary. But I've got a sense of pride now. I've got a part-time job. I've saved up a little bit of money. It's taken me a year to save up for a car, but the car that I've got now, just earning that money, honest living, step by step, and just appreciating life and what I have has just hold me in good stead. Family were a little bit hesitant at first because they thought, well, he's only done it because he's just coming out of prison. Let's see how he acts and what he does. So I've got a beautiful relationship now with my parents and reconnected with old friends that I went to school from, and family, cousins. But I think, funny enough, one of the biggest challenges was like getting my driver's license, applying for my passport, getting all my ID, all that sort of thing. So then I can apply for a job. These little segments I had to keep on top of. But as long as because my day is full of listening to Prem and the Peace Education Programme. So it's like Prem says, you know, I just keep practicing, tending to my garden, watering the seed that was sown within me in prison, and it's just flourishing. And it's just the beginning, Mitesh. You know, it's the tip of the iceberg.
Sorry, go ahead, Billa.
No, that's it. Thanks.
Billa, it's interesting what you say, because I've done some work with people in correctional settings in a healthcare capacity, and often with people who have mental health or well-being concerns as well. And you mention a number of challenges that you also had to face whilst in prison, but coming out of prison, and I guess, for want of a better phrase, reintegrating into the society that you wanted to be part of again. And those challenges can be easily ignored, and actually frequently people coming out of prison, those challenges are ignored for them. And so the cycle of actually trying to reestablish themselves, get back into something, it's actually the spiral of downward, let's get back into what it was like before you went into prison, is such a significant momentum that actually the support needed, it's not just one thing, it's a multitude of things. From that basis, with your experience with the Peace Education Programme, how does this all fit together to really helping a human being who has made certain choices, ended up in prison, how did the Peace Education Programme fit into the wider support that they need?
I think thank you for the question, Mitesh. I think it's vital. I think it's the core. So for myself, when I landed in prison, I had this conscious shift, and I looked around on the wing and I thought, I don't want to be here. And I thought, this is a perfect opportunity to change if I want to. If not, my life will be coming in and out of prison, and I'll have no one to blame because I'm consciously making that decision and having to live with it. So whilst I was there, I saw a lot of, as you said, mental health issues, people coming in and out of prison. And one of the main things I seen was when people were released into the community, their basic needs weren't met, like housing, social, friends, or fiscally. But for myself, I think what the PEP has given me, as the workshops say, is it gave me an inner strength and appreciation of life and choice, which was really, really big for me, because for 20 years thought I had no choice. So having choice and hope, contentment, self-awareness, it gives me the building blocks for life. And then I put other things around it to support that. And it's just built up momentum. So everything has sprung from the Peace Education Program. And, you know, at first it wasn't easy. I internalized a lot and I didn't like a lot of the things. But once I got over that, by using Prem's stories, like I said in the documentary, you know, yesterday is not promised, tomorrow is not even promised. What counts is today. So I think it's very vital of this learning inner resources that we have within us, this beautiful, wonderful thing that we've got called life, a gift that we get every day over and over again. And the trick is how we use that and make conscious decisions and having a clarity. And as Socrates says, as Prem says, you know thyself. And everything just blossoms in my experience. And that's what I teach other people.
Thank you.
From my experience. So thanks a lot, Mitesh.
That's great. Thank you. I had to share this. Your story, Slaying the Dragon. Someone has written, Billa, we lost our nephew to a heroin overdose. It fills me to witness your transformation, joy, and commitment. I love and share the Good Wolf story too. Best to you always. So amazing. I have to come to Ernest. Ernest, we've heard the amazing stories of South Africa. Where do you see the Peace Education Program making a difference in the Southern African region for you? And how do you think that's going to be possible?
Thank you so much, Mitesh. Let me greet all the panelists and the delegates to this 20th celebration of TPRF. Thank you so much. Actually, the Peace Education Program for SADC region, starting from my country, South Africa, it is one tool that we use for psychosocial support. We have positioned the Peace Education Program also as a tool to prevent crime, to reduce violence behavior. As you know, the history of South Africa about apartheid and so on, and people are living with anger. And after 1994, where we got democratic breakthrough, people thought now government must do everything for them. But the Peace Education Program is reminding our people here to say, you have the power to transform. And recently we have introduced the Peace Education Program to Zimbabwe Correctional Centers, and it's going well there. And I'm saying it can help SADC region to reconcile, to unite, to build these nations. And working together, really, we can do more. Gone are those days when we work in silos, but also we need those partners, your non-government organizations, government itself, organized, non-organized individuals. So this tool can really assist our troubled society to heal. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ernest. And Paul, you're in the Central South America region. What about for you? You're just on mute.
What was the question again? Thank you.
In terms of how can the Peace Education Program in your region help transform the world around you?
Well, it's very interesting. Working with the Bloods now, there's a history of 9 years with the gang members who've, felt this transformation. And many of their members are in jail. They're in rehabilitation centers. The other day we went to a rehabilitation to begin to introduce PEP again. And the idea is actually that when members leave these situations, they can come back in the community, and the Bloods who are in the community, now rehabilitated per se, they can help them in this reassertion process. That's very unique. That's incredibly unique that, you know, those on the inside, those on the outside can make that connection and help each other. You know, I think, Bill, you can appreciate this, right? So that's, you know, a model that we are looking forward to implementing more and more, and in particular here. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. And then I have a question here. In regards to promotion, one thing we're hearing a lot about is that the Peace Education Program is promoted by word of mouth or people that know each other or within their immediate networks. Are there any plans to promote more widely? Perhaps a question for you, Willow.
Yes, of course there is. As Prem said earlier, Peace Education Program is in its infancy stage. We're still really, really growing. And yes, there are plans for introducing it further. And I think there was also a question of the fact that the course is often promoted by word of mouth. Particularly, for example, in Ghana, where there were 6,000 participants during the last quarter. People heard about the course and then they would request it. And volunteers were really scrambling to fulfill all the requests. But that volunteer position that's available regarding promotion is really more for people to come together and find out the best practices of how to present the course when they're invited to present it somewhere. So we'll be working on approaches that have been effective and approaches that have been ineffective, and the different presentation materials. And that volunteer position is available already on tprf.org. If anybody's interested in joining that, it'll just take a few hours of your time to participate, to be part of a think tank. Hope that answered the question, Mitesh. Maybe I got off a little bit.
No, thanks, Willow. That's great. A question for Chris. Chris, what excites you most about the Peace Education Program for Education?
I guess what excites me the most is the transformation I see in the students, and not only the students, but the teachers in our classrooms. We think the target group is the students, and it is, and I see them grow, but equally right next to us with teachers who are working with us, I see them grow too, and have comments like, this is amazing, this is a subject that should be taught to every student. So I guess that's a really exciting thing. There's a lot of potential. It's just under the surface, and as the program begins to present, you start to see different people pop up and go, wow, that's incredible. So the fact that it talks to everybody is the best thing.
Great, thank you, Chris. So once again, just a few more comments that I see coming through. One comment is, I finally got to see the PEP series of videos on Zoom this year. After seeing the first one, I could see why the guy in prison wanted to come back into prison to finish the course. This is from a documentary that was the Inside Peace documentary from a few years ago from the US. Another comment that I see here, Leonie and Ernest, thank you for your encouragement and practical collaboration approach. Coalition building makes good work reach more people. So amazing comments there. And generally lots of appreciation for all you panelists. I think this brings us nicely towards the end of our Q&A section. Just before we close, it's really been an incredible honor to have been part of this conference celebrating 20 years of the difference that the Prem Rawat Foundation is making around the world. People have already been asking, can we have more of this conference? And I tell you what I'm really excited about. I'm excited about what the conversation is going to be like the next time we have this conference, the next time we talk about what's happening in the world with the Peace Education Program and with Food for People and all the other projects that are happening. I'm so excited, and I'm so honored to have been part of today. Thank you so much for watching. And now back over to Jake.